talked about. Oh, this is really looking up at me. So, as you may know, probably from older discussions, I like to watch some short films, and particularly of the horror short films. Those seem to be the most interesting ones to me, and so I watched a few of them. I forgot to list them in the description. I'll try to remember to do that later. But one of them was it's got I don't know how to say her last name, Amanda Seyfried, I guess. I think she was in Mean Girls, and it's got one other actor. So the title of that short film is Skin and Bone. The other one is Catch Your Breath by, I want to say, Matt Sears. The Skin and Bone is by Alter. You'll find, the Alter channel does a lot of these types of films. And then the last one we'll talk about is, let's see, Catch Your Breath. It is Intrusions, or Intrusion. I can't remember who put out that one, but I will try to put those details in the description later on. So last time we talked about a movie. Last week's episode, I talked about what I watch, Skinamarink, and I did this really weird video that didn't really look at my face or anything that you could understand because Skinamarink was all about that. So I decided to check out these short films, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. So as um, uh, the one with Amanda Seyfried, the oh, what is Skin and Bone? Yeah, so it's she works on a farm and she seems to be the only one there. And then this random stranger comes along. He looks like he hitched a ride off of a truck, and then he got a ride, and then he stopped at this farm and he was looking for work, and that's about it. She she goes ahead and hires him. Asks him some basic questions like, "Do you have any experience? Are you homeless?" Because he kind of came out of nowhere, and so it cuts to him being hired and doing the general tasks around this farm that's got some livestock. You see some horses, you see goats, um, and then you see scenes that were taken in just different parts of the farm, out in the field, in a cabin where he stays, and then one night he's invited inside to dine with her. She invites him in to eat, and then I'll look a little funny, but then at least he won't be shaking around too much. And then they have a little discussion, and she's a little pointed with him, and sort of offends him, and then he just leaves. She called him weak, and then so let's see what happened after that. Throughout the film, this is, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or so. He has visions. He sees men. One of them is stripped, but it's kind of from the waist up, and the guy looks frightened. And he hears voices coming from the horse outside, and so he thinks he's going crazy. And then um, later on, let's see, how did it play out? what do you do? Um, I can't remember how. I should have watched this again. Later in the end, he ends up. You learn that he's actually turned into one of the livestock, and then Amanda's character just goes on um, business as usual. And so a lot of people in the comments were talking about, hey, she's kind of like Circe, the Greek mythological character that lured sailors in and turned them into animals. And I thought, oh yeah, I believe that was from Homer's Odyssey. It's been a while since I have read that story, but I can certainly see the parallel there. But the acting was really really good, filmed really well, had a really nice aesthetic to it, and good acting by both actors. And so I highly recommend it. It's on YouTube. These things are really easy watches. It's hard to find the good ones. You can find a lot of bad ones, like ACM official. I would avoid that channel. I think this one is on Alter, but yeah, search Skin and Bone, and then you'll see the thumbnail. Um, so yeah, typically we rate things, so I'll go ahead and rate this one an 8 out of 10. So the next one is done by, I would say, more, I guess, slightly less experienced filmmakers, but it was still somewhat entertaining. So these two boys are checking out this abandoned house, and they want to. So this film is called Catch Your Breath, and they check out this house, and they want to test a what would you call it? An urban legend, I guess, similar to Bloody Mary, but it was called something else. They had to repeat this, incantation to the bathtub with two tea lights, little candles, and then he's supposed to blow them out, and then the other one was going to be blown out by this lady, and then if you don't want to become drowned somehow, then you have to hold your breath for a minute, and then all is good. And so the kid who's got the idea sends his friend upstairs in order to do this. He doesn't want to do it himself. And so he stays downstairs while the other guy goes up. He follows through with it. And, I think that the filming is done pretty well with this. The sound design is pretty good too. It's got good music. It's just a little bit cheesy, but I was kind of into it. And then he does it. He says, okay, nothing's happening. And then, of course, moments later, something actually does happen. And then the lady comes out, and she appears to be in water, but she's not. But the way her hair is flowing is like she is in water, and she's got a scary face. So I think from a special effects standpoint, that was pretty good. It actually was kind of terrifying. And then every time that he would breathe, she would get closer. And he's just not even, he couldn't hold his breath for more than maybe 5 seconds at a time before he had to take a breath. And then because he's not paying attention, he falls down the stairs. And so that knocks the wind out of him. And so this lady gets much, much closer. And, she's just kind of floating in the air. And then, she gets so close until she finally makes contact with him. And then it cuts to the other kid finding his friend on the floor next to the bathtub where he started. And he's kind of convulsing. And that's and then the door shuts, and that's the end of the movie. So I guess they both meet their demise in that film. So not too bad, actually. The lines were a little bit cheesy, but I think overall it looked like a fun project for them that they took on. Lastly is Intrusions. I would probably say this is of the same caliber as the last film, Catch Your Breath. There is just one actress in this one. Looks like it's about 3 a.m. and she is just chilling to read a book, turns a light, and enjoys, I guess, a glass of wine. And then she hears, she starts to hear sounds and is kind of chasing, trying to figure out where these sounds or things are coming from. And so she's, obviously be that is what the rest of the film is about. Her wondering what's going on here, and then it kind of follows her around the house for a little while, and then um, you know it's okay. I stuck with it throughout the film. 10 to 15 minutes. I can't remember how long it was. And then in the end, she ends up getting, I guess, taken by a thing. I don't remember it being human. Boy, I'm really not remembering so many details about this. But the execution was okay. I think along the same lines as the last film, as I mentioned just a second ago, and it was kind of funny that they cut to some bloopers. The last 30 seconds of it. So that was a little bit of fun. You could tell that they were having fun making this movie. But um, I'd say the way it was filmed, it's kind of in a dark area. It was nicely lit. I think they set the setting was real nice and kind of a little bit intimidating. Just young woman in her house by herself, and is wondering, what's happening here. Yeah, that one's called Intrusions. I would certainly give it a watch. I'll try to remember to put these in the description so that you can go find them. I'll include the links also. And that about does it for this live. So unfortunately, we didn't have any viewers come on. Skinamarink was a really weird episode. I did that at midnight just on a whim, and I was surprised to see 30 viewers. I'm not sure what that was all about, but we got some people coming into the chat, so that was kind of fun. So what is this? What does that do? Top chat live. Some live chat. Okay. All right. So I hope you decide to check this out and check out these short films. Give them a shot, and I'll catch you next time. We'll see what we end up talking about in these these random lives. I'll try to have our next episode posted for our Tuesday, and we will see you soon. What does this do?